Yes,
Are we
it's okay.
okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay. Okay.
Yes, we are
Little
good.
bit more, please. Thank
Okay.
you. Good.
Okay. So let me go to my admin center. So this is our admin center. Let's assume I just signed in to admin.microsoft.com. Then I want to navigate to the Purview Center. So the next thing I'll click is, especially for those of us that are using smaller screen, like 13 inches um, laptop, then you click on Show. So this is Purview. Remember last year I told us Purview was once called Compliance Center, but now we call it Purview. So no longer call it compliance center. So as I said yesterday, that once you get to this place, you see information protection, and from the option you have, you can see still have information protection. So we can either click this or this, still arrive at our destination. So while we were working yesterday, we talked about some things. I mean, so while we were working yesterday, we talked about some things about data protection, and we talked about classification on how to classify uh, our data. So we see the information protection, we see that what we have, one of the ways we can classify our data is by knowing our data, knowing which one is sensitive, and how to protect them, which is what one of what we talk is to them. Let me see, trying to bring up my PowerPoint. Okay, so for those that are not with us yesterday, so we talk about the sensitive information type and trainable classifier, which is what brought us to what we want to discuss today. You can see data classification overview, and the data can be classified in two ways, which is what we are provided with here: sensitive information type and trainable classifier. So that was what led us to what we actually have on our screen um, now. So when we go back to our screen, I believe all of us know how to get to the Purview Admin Center at the moment. And if you have your system with you, you can actually open it. So by the time you are doing it from my end, you can also be doing your own from your end. So if you have any issues, error, or questions, you can ask. So from there, you can pick it up. So the first thing we're talking about, we believe in the overview, we believe the reports and the recommendations. So we just go to our sensitive labels. There's actually some other things under the sensitive label that we need to do before the sensitive label. Or however, the sensitive label carries or embodies everything all along, all along. So So this is my sensitive label. So we want to create one and publish that label. We want to create one and publish that label. If you have access to Microsoft tenants, please can you signify in the group so I will know those we are together. Can you just signify in the group? I have a tenant. I have access to a tenant at the moment that I'm working with. Can you signify in the group? I have tenants. I believe the tenants that was given to us by the community also should be able to do this. But I have tenants at the moment that I can use to reproduce this. Solomon, aside from Solomon, who else? Aside from Solomon, I have a tenant and I can reproduce this. Aside from Solomon, who else? Nobody, only Solomon. Sunday. Okay. Rafiah, please, I want to confirm if the tenant given to um the mentees can be used to reproduce this stuff we are learning. They have the admin rights to do so. If it appears to be this, no. Boss, Oyimafu, you know if the tenant can do so.
Yeah. We'll check if the permission they have can actually. I'll check their rules. I'll
Okay.
check. I'll confirm that.
Okay, thanks, boss. Okay. So let's continue. If you have your tenants now, you can open me because I know I ran into some issues when I was doing um my I was trying to reproduce some stuff on this evening. So once you create our label first, what should we name our label? Samuel. At least I can remember Samuel. Samuel from Accra. Explain name. Accra Samuel. So the priority often it comes as the highest, but once you are done creating your sensitivity label, then you can decide to change the priority to whatever you like. Let me see in this place. You can see the priority. These are the priority for each of. That is how the policy will take place. So the one with the highest priority we act on whatever we are doing first before the next one. So you can always change the priority if you want to, like here I can do move upward. So this will update the priority. So but we are creating it afresh. We will not be able to alter the priority. It comes as highest by default. And description for users. Can I say enter a text to help users understand the label, the reason why users have this label, the reason why they have it, we need to put it there. So once they see it, they will know. And second one is to add the description. If you have multiple admin in the organization, so you need to add description. You might finish creating the policy for one reason, and it might be doing more than what you expected. So once those admin that are working on it comes there and they see the description, they can easily trace if the policy is what is affecting the user or not. Or maybe a user complain that I have this policy for a while, I want to edit it. They'll be able to trace that policy. So you need to add description to the policies. Else, there are some admin that will just come and they will just start deleting anything they didn't table. So we've add our description. Our description is Accra Samuel. And so the next thing, let's give it a color. This is color blue. And next. Okay. So by default, what we have is file, email, and meeting. We will not have group and site by default. This group and site, you won't have it by default. You are the one that is expected to enable it. And for me, let me see another tenant that is yet to be enabled. To have that tenant. So, I mean, I just want to sign into a fresh tenant so you see what I'm talking about. In case the reason why I'm taking the pain to show us this is some of us might get to our own tenant and see that my own tenants don't have this. My own tenant is not sharing this. Yes, it's not sharing it for a reason. Let me see which other tenant do I have there. Let me use this. What happened? Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, bàbá. Mo send nǹkan sí WhatsApp yín bọ̀. Èyí tó máàkì yẹ́lò yẹn.
Please mute your microphone.
Wetin fit balance
Please,
am
who is
for
that
later.
person? Switch, switch. What's happening? I'm giving this fail to list that and probably first party applies to this. Interesting. I don't want. I said I don't want. Welcome. Okay. Let's start it. Thank you. So let's go to our information protection, sensitivity label. Why we let of label? Are you sure these have not been enabled? Okay. Okay. This is yet to be enabled. Okay, so if you see what you have here, you see that it's different from the other one. You can see that group and site is yet to be enabled. Let me show you the other one. You can see this one, group and site is enabled. I don't know. Okay, let's just do some PowerShell scripting to enable the other one. So for those that don't have it in their tenants enabled, so they can also make use of same scripting uh make use of. See. Okay. Can you see my PowerShell?
Yes, I can see your PowerShell. I had to disable mic for participants so they don't distract you. Yeah, I can see
Oh,
your
okay.
PowerShell, sir.
Okay, thank you. So participants can drop chats or if you have anything, can just drop it in the chat. So if we check the scripting here, there are some things that needs to be done for us to be able to enable uh, the option. So I'm trying to get the documents. I think I have documents somewhere. Okay, this is the documents on how to enable it. So this is the documents on how to enable it. So we're running some PowerShell scripts now. Let me divide my screen. Have a bigger screen. Actually divide. So PowerShell will be on the other screen. Okay, I believe we can see both screens now. So the first thing that we need to do is to install Modi. For my own module, I've actually installed most of what we have here already. And also, you need to open your PowerShell as admin. If you look at the top of my PowerShell here, you see that administrator Windows PowerShell. So you need to open your PowerShell as admin for it to be able to run um, this script, this PowerShell script. So it's very simple and straightforward to do. So the first thing is to install module, which I think I have done before, but let's do it for the sake of others. And graph module will take several minutes to install. Take several minutes to install. Okay, I think because I've installed it before, that's why we have it there. So the second thing is connect to your tenants. So let's connect to the tenants that we want to enable it with. I sure
Hello,
it have
bro.
not connected to nothing. Yes, boss, I can hear you.
Please, sir, can you increase the font size of the PowerShell? Somebody said on chat that the size is quite small.
No. Wow, interesting. Let me see if I can do that. Do I have any option to do that? Not sure I have the option to do that. So how
Okay.
can I do it? You can get it. Want to speak?
Or
Not
maybe
sure
you
there's
can
an option
check.
to increase it.
Let's check that
Maybe
side.
my
Let's see.
where properties.
Yeah. Yeah, from properties.
also size is also
Can you check
if you
font?
maximize it, if you maximize it, it will increase. Okay, I think I increase the font size 72. Let's try it 28%. Okay. I think it's like now. Can the person see power sharing?
Yes, sir. It's better now, boss.
Okay. Thank you. So we need to connect to the graph, or the way I'm seeing it seems it's connecting to my previous tenant. To my previous tenant, but I'm coming. We have connect. I'm trying to get. I want to connect it to the affected tenants, not my own tenants. Okay. Let's run the dot script. I know this dot script used to throw a lot of errors, but let's try throws a lot of errors often. So, okay. I know it throws a lot of errors. So I have my own version. I have my own version and let me get my document. I have my own version. This is my own version. It's connected to my tenant, my old tenant. Yes, so how do I disconnect it? Because now it's telling me it's bad. So, and so okay. So we connected it to this tenant, not the tenant. Okay. So this is the next. It's very bad. Stop. It works. So what we have in that document, often when I make use of it, I do get that error. So me, I make use of this one for myself. So let's go back to the tenant. We should have it enabled now. Sensitivity level in is can I see? Can I see that we have it enabled now? So by default, we don't have this enabled. You are the one that needs to enable this. I don't know if you need the script. If you need the script, I can send it to the chat. Then you can pick it up from there. But if you don't need it, then we can proceed with our class. If you need it, please let me know so I can drop it so we proceed. Not be going back to PC. Please send it. Okay. Coming, though we have it in this document, but that document I don't like it. I don't like that document. It gives me error. Anything I try it. We have it here. However, I declared it, and this is my own version. The last part of it, one version two, like after connecting to and three. So this is my own version. Let me explain how to use the script. Then stored. So as I said earlier, I've tried this script several times. So I make use of my own script because this particular script keeps giving me error anytime I try it. So the first part of it, which is install mode, that is if you have not run graph on your PC before now, you have not run graph on it, then you use install mode. So perhaps you are using a laptop that is a domain join, it does not belongs to you, it belongs to your company, then you can use this code current user. If you don't use scope current user, there might be restriction because you are not admin on that domain. So that's the reason why we are running this. So this is the beta version for Graph. If you want to use the beta version, then this is the beta version for Graph. We want to install the mode for beta version. So after that, then you connect Graph, ng Graph, then scope I decide to use it or not. But often when I make use of it, this is what is in my head. I don't have this one in my head. So I connect graph. The connection of the graph is to connect to the tenant. You want to make the changes to that tenant. You want to make the changes to, then you go there. So with this particular part of what you have there, this particular part that has never worked for me. This particular part that never worked for me. So from there, I do jump to this version. If you see what I sent to the group, I jump to this place and this place, and it works fine without this. So I jump to this number 4 and number 5 without the number 3, and it works fine. So if you want to keep the documentation, just know that for now, For me, you can perhaps run this part and it's to run from your end, but for me, it doesn't work. I've never tried it and it works. We choose to return one string, null string. So I don't know what the null string is. I've tried to work on it again and again and again, yes. So I don't know what the null string is. But outside that, once I jump to this and this, it works for me, which is what we did just now. So I think then we can continue with our sensitivity label. Any question? Any question? Then we continue with our sensitivity label. Please drop that of the domain. Which of the domain are you talking about? Solomon, I'm lost. I'll be okay, side. Sorry. I don't know which of the domain you are talking about. So we can create our sensitivity label now. Time is fast spent. Time is running. So we use Samuel Accra. Yes, thank you. Accra Samuel. Bring Accra Samuel. Not bringing Accra Samuel. Most time, hands-on are always boring. I think I've explained this earlier. By default, is on highest. Can't change it once you are done creating the label. Then before you can make changes to it. Click on green. So once you define the scope of this label, you can see that the scope we have here, we have 4 of the scope in which you can define our label. You can decide to use one label for everything if it suits what we want. And if it does not suit what we want, you can decide to change the scope also. It might be for file and data alone, it might be for email alone, it might be for mixing, it might be for group and sites alone. So it all depends on what you are trying to achieve that will determine what your scope will look like. But for this class, I can say let's just leave everything since we are not going to enable the policy. So it won't bring catastrophic to the tenants. So you can click on next. So we have protection setting, the type of item selected. So the protection setting you configure will be enforced when the label is applied to item in Microsoft 365. Control access. Control can access and view labeled items. Apply context marking. That is add custom header, footer, watermark. Like I said yesterday, you see some documents, you see confidential on it. And no matter how you try, you can't remove the watermark. And there are some you can easily go online, you remove the watermark. Then can go on. Some you can't even copy them. You have the contents in your front, you can view them, but you can't make any changes. You can't copy it. So it depends on kind of protection and configuration that you do that will determine which one works for you. So we use control access, everything. I think this one has to do with license. Yes, we need Teams premium license to be able to do this. Not sure I have that license. So for us to be able to pick the last option, we need a license, Teams premium license to be able to do that. I don't have it in my test tenant. So let's continue. Okay, so the next one is the access control based on what you choose earlier. Control access. So based on what you choose, let's remove it. Can you see that there is no access control option here again because we uncheck control access. So what you have here is just watermark because we selected this. If we don't select it, you can see nothing. It just jumps to the next one without any other configuration. So we do control access and apply content, then to ask us to configure it. Remove access setting if already applied to item. Configure or editing. Can say can do co-authoring or not. Can do it or not, but for this, we are not doing it. So the sensitivity label is actually wow, I canceled everything. The sensitivity label actually is something that is wide, extremely wide. I don't know how come I cancel this. Sorry. So yeah, I'm doing remove access. I forgot access. We're gonna check this. So assign permission now. So let's use the assign permission when the assign permission now, whichever way you want it. So the permission is to enforce the label to be applied to the email. We'll still get to where be able to do either users are given the opportunity to apply it manually or automatically it will apply. You know, yesterday when we are talking about security and compliance, there are some users, no matter the training, no matter the awareness, no matter what you do, they will still decide to do what they want. So for users like that, we might do the auto labeling. That is by default, you don't need to do anything. By default, it should do what? Apply. So the next one we have here is user access to content. So do you want this permission? Do you want it to expire or not? Which our advice should always be on never. So either the file is offline or online, it should be protected, which is what we have next. So if you want to add permission to specific user or not, then you can do it here. Use watermark. You have a watermark. I think our watermark is what optional. Let's remove it so you can continue. Um, I'm trying to just remove some excesses so you can continue. You must assign permission. Who do I want to give permission to? Who individual, who should I assign permission to? Okay. I think the main is showing there already. Thank you. Then I click on next. So add watermark. So we can add watermark and remove this because if you add this also, it still asks us to add text to it. Then next, auto labeling for files and email. You want to make it automatic or not. As I said earlier, you can decide to do it that way or just uncheck, you move on. But however, we are still going to make use of it. I will still show us how to enable the auto labeling. So it asks us to define protection, privacy, and external user access, external sharing, conditional access. So whichever way you want it. The reason why I'm just being fast is you see we already on our time is 9:04 already and we are still here. So, however, that's why I said yesterday that just go through some of these things. If you see me clicking, you might not get it. But if you do it yourself, you will get some things and be able to ask questions. Be able to ask questions. So let me continue, then create our label. And often once you create a label, it does not take effect immediately. Some take days depending on the size of your tenant. If you have a large tenant, some even take up to 30 days before they reflect. So he's asking us if we want to publish the label or not. We are not creating a policy yet, and we are not publishing it yet. So these are sensitivity label that we created. Don't forget, we were talking about data categorization. So we talked about sensitivity label and what the trainer. So now, once you are done with your sensitivity label, you need to publish your label. So it's either you publish it from here or you come here, any of this place to publish it. Remember when we are creating our sensitivity label, it was asking us for auto labeling policy. If we want to use it for auto labeling, which we decline. So perhaps you have created your sensitivity label. We want to use the auto labeling. We come to this place and add your the label you created to so that you can publish them. There are some other policies that will ask you. The sensitivity label itself will not work alone. You have to add it to a policy for it to work. So this one is done manually. That is, users have to add it manually, while this one is done automatically. This one is done automatically. This one is still under review. I've never even opened it. I don't know much about it yet. But these two, this one is manually, this one is done automatically. So any question, I will not be opening any of this because of our time. This 9:06 already. So I will not be opening any of this because of our time. Any question? Any question? Any question?
Anybody that have questions, please just raise your hands up so we can allow your mic.
Oh, okay. Or they can drop it as chat in the group. Let me check.
It seems
Okay.
it's only Solomon that is in this class. So what about other people?
Others are not
Miracle,
around. Once
Miracle,
it's
are you
hands
here?
on, hands on used to be boring. Only if you are doing it yourself. That's why I said if you have your system, you just sit down in front of your system and be
Yeah.
trying some things out. If somebody is doing it, you get bored because the person is just clicking, clicking, clicking. But if you have your system with you and you are doing it, you'll be able to interact with what the person is saying. You have questions. But now you see that after the training, people will start coming to the group to ask questions. Same thing we've done in class already, because then they did not practice it. So my organ, I don't think they have with that. I was expecting it that the class would be called today.
Okay. Somebody said they got verification failed.
Verification failed. Yeah, Solomon. Where do you get where do you get the error message? While you run the PowerShell, you got verification failed. Can you paste a screenshot? You can post the screenshots in the chat. Um, so while we are waiting, I think I was trying to brush through um, the configuration. Trying to brush through the configuration. So if you look at this place, let me just say, while we are waiting for Solomon to paste those things, you can see that immediately we open it that I want to publish, it's asking us which sensitivity label we want to add to the policy. So I went to the one we created with Samuel. I added it here. Then we did what? Don't forget when we are talking about sensitivity yesterday, that all information are not the same thing. Some are more sensitive than the other. So that is why you are creating this label now to categorize your data. There are some data that should not go outside the organization. There are some that should be restricted from external users or guest user. Though that guest user is part of the organization, probably they might be contractors, but you don't want them to have access to some things, and you don't want your user also to send some information to them. So that is the reason why we have our sensitivity label, and the policy is the sensitivity label is embodied inside the policy. You categorize it, then now the policy will now say, okay, if you see this sensitive information, this is what should happen to it or not. After categorizing it, we said we need to protect it, which is the reason why this policy is here. So we can click on next. So assign admin units. Yeah, I'm not assigning any admin units because I only have few admins in this tenant. So group, publish to users and group. So which users, which group, you can decide to change the scope if you don't want it. But if you want it for all users and group, then you can click remove policy settings. Users needs to provide justification. No, require user to apply label to the email and documents. Depending on, as I said earlier, depending on what you want to do, depending on what you are trying to achieve at the moment, or your organization policies to data, that will determine what will go for you. At times, once you are creating policies like this, you need approval from a lot of people before you go ahead, because this affects a lot of things. Then label, giving our label, then to ask us defaults for documents, we are using Samuel. I'm not sure if this from attachments, yes, use automatically apply label. So I'm just doing this clarity. Everything we are doing here is Samuel. You can see for document, for email, for meetings, for sites, for Fabric and Power BI. Then to ask us name, to name let me just give it again, Samuel. Since Samuel is the man of the moment. So I can click on submit. So this one now, it applies to um, any document, site, or email manually. You just have to apply it manually. While the other one that we have, or the spring here, the automatic, this one will apply automatically, irrespective, either the user wants it or not, to make them comply to the rules and regulation in the organization. So either they want it or not, they just have to comply. So that is that regarding the sensitivity label and its policies. So the next one is classifier. But let me check if someone has sent screenshot. So the next thing. Yes, I mentioned it that this is not enabled by default. You have to run that PowerShell script to enable it. That was the reason why I went to that PowerShell to just explain those things. So you need to run those scripts I sent to the group. I sent the documentation for you to have it enabled. So let's continue. So, when we talk on our slide, we talk about the sensitivity label and the trainable classifier. Trainable classifier, let me see. Let me bring up my. So let me see. Why are you going forward? Come back, come back. Okay, so we can see it now. Yesterday, we talked about the sensitive information type and the trainable classifier. So we've talked about some of the sensitive info type and its policy. And when we are creating the sensitivity information, there are some other things that need to be added for it to be sensitive. If you remember yesterday, I said the information needs to be classified, and there are some that are already classified by Microsoft. However, there are some that we ourselves need to add to it based on your region, because what they did is based on where they have their larger percentage of their customers, which is the US and the UK, maybe Australia and Canada, but hardly you see something regarding Africa. So for it to suit our own region also, we have to do some manual calculation of some sensitive information type. So let's continue. So here now we have the trainable classifier and we have the sensitive info types. We have the trainable classifier and we have the sensitive info type. You see that we already have some defaults that comes with Microsoft. I think that should be around 110 or 112. For us to have 114, I think there are some other ones that have been created manually. That is the reason why we have this 114. You can see that they already created some use case that we can actually make use of them. It's built in. You can see type built in. Once you see customize, then that one is created manually. It's created manually. Let me see if we have any has been created from can be sorted by types. Can be sorted by types. So let's see. Let's try and create some. Let's give its name Samuel. Samuel A. Then so for you to be able to use the trainable classifier, you must have your model. Your model. So this your model must include. So you can see. Look at this part. So some of your all your models must have been prepared in a document, often maybe in a SharePoint site. You have it in a SharePoint site. Then you come here and mention that, click on that SharePoint site. You can see we have the positive sample and we have the negative sample. Don't forget, we are talking about sensitive information. We have the good ones and we have the bad ones. So you need to specify each of the samples here. So with that samples now, I told you yesterday that the trainable classifier, as the name sound, we are training it to be able to pick those words, to flag them that, okay, these ones are bad, these ones are what are good. You know, we have our Nigerian English and we have a lot of words, maybe slangs that we make use of, and you want to flag those things. Let's assume you are working in with maybe British International School in Nigeria, and they have some students from Nigeria in the organization. You know, they might be able to flag every other words that are not Nigerian English. But however, there are some words that are African English that might not be included. So we need to train this classifier now to be able to pick those words. Like imagine in the US, maybe you know, be somebody, your mama, your papa, you know, the system by default might not classify that as a negative statement because to them, your mama, your papa does not mean anything. But here in Africa, if somebody tell you your papa, your mama, there might be serious war or trouble. So words like that, since it's school, you might want to restrict it from the student. So you need to include it in the SharePoint site. You upload them here. So let me see if we have one. Um, just add them. And click on next. Then for the negative sample to ask you the sites. Let me see up on the next. Next, to ask you to review and do what? Create. But since I'm not interested in this, I'll not be creating it. Since I'm not interested, so I'll not be creating it. So that's that for trainable classifier. Now we have the sensitive info types. So the sensitive info types for those that were in classes, that you know I mentioned it. Like what we have here now, we have routing number. If you go down, you see credit card details and a lot of things that can be flagged. However, there are some that does not suit us again that we want to do. We want to add some words by ourselves. By default, we want to add, if you look at this place, you have Germany, you have Greece, India, Israel, Japan. Let me see if we have Nigeria. Nothing like Nigeria. Philippines, Russia, UK. And let me see if we have Ghana. No Ghana. No Ghana. So all these we can create. You can see at the top we have create sensitive info type, create fingerprint based sensitive information. Right. So as I said, it depends on what you are trying to achieve, what you are trying to achieve. So let's just quickly rush the sensitive info type. then maybe you can look at the EDM classifier or not. Then we'll go back to our slide and start our data loss prevention policy. What is happening? Oh, just multiple times. Okay, let's give it name, some description, friendly description. Thank you, Samuel. Then pattern. We don't have any pattern. You can see, if you add pattern, then it shows us to create a new pattern. Let me see, create one. It's the same thing. So I elements. What are we using? Let's use keyword list. Let's give it Nigeria English. Apa, Ama, Yanusi. Each other one again. Your father. Each other one again. Each other one again. I think these are the little ones that I can remember. So case sensitive, no, word match, string match, you should leave it as word match. Then done. You need to add anything, character, proximity, detect primary, and supporting elements within. Nope. Add supporting elements. Nope. Great. So you can see we've added a pattern now. This pattern was not included in the defaults that we have. So we can click on next. High confidence, like the way we have it earlier, you can decide to come back and edit the confidence level that is after creating the policy to whatever you like. Then you can click on create. I know some of the things we are doing are some people we are speaking Latin, Chinese, Indian. Most of them you won't understand it until sit down yourself and try to do something. That's when you get most of what we are doing here. Or if you're an IT personnel in an organization and you need to work on most of these things, then you get it. The way we are doing GUI that you are seeing on the screen, left to me, I don't like GUI for anything when it comes to Purview or Defender. In short, generally, I prefer to just use PowerShell and do whatever I want to do and leave and come into GUI. So EDM on the other hand, EDM on the other hand is just like a senior colleague to what we've talked about so far. So this one now has more than how should I put it? EDM, I think it's electronic document management. So this one it has more strings. It has more strings than the info type and the trainable classifier. That is, let me assume in maybe in a library now, as we used yesterday, I said there's something we call cataloging. Then you go to maybe science, then you look for the author, you look for the topic, you look for things like that to easily search those things. And if you remember yesterday, um one of our slide has an explanation on what you have on this screen. Let me see if I can get it. One of our slide has that explanation.
Mr. Jide, there's a question on the chat.
Okay, come in. Yes, you can only get it from site. Well, for the second one, I've only tried it with public sites. I've not tried it with private sites. But I believe it should work with both public and private sites. But it has to be sites. It has to be sites. So, where are we? I think I was looking for something. I was looking for something from yesterday. Not sure. Not sure where did we find it yesterday. I think it's here. Can't remember where we find it yesterday. So let's continue. I'll still look for it by the way. So as I said earlier, electronic document management. So this is like looking for more than one string or one words at a time. Let's assume you want to you want anytime you click on Olajide, then it should bring out age, sex, marital status, location, things like that that are related to Olajide. So I'm looking for a word that can embody something like that. Okay, let's imagine colored. Once you mention colored, then under colored, we have yellow, green, blue, white, irrespective of. But once you mention white, it will still see it as colored to flag it. If you mention blue, to still see it as colored, it will flag it. If you mention color, everything all together will still be flagged. So if we have time before next class, which is on Saturday, just take time to go through all what we have here. And as I said, all everything you have here, there's documentation online. You don't need to stress yourself. Just type it to Google that Microsoft Purview sensitivity label. Yeah. It will bring information for you everywhere. Even if we open the Purview Center, you see that there is a lot of link to documentation. And here you can see we still have one here. So we have a lot of Microsoft documentation out there that you can make use of, can read and make use of it. If you look at what they have there, they are saying it. Once you bring out the person's name, it's extracting all the information about that user. So you can join there. So that is that about sensitive information and trainable classifier. That is in classifying our sensitive information. That is that on data classification. Then before we go to data loss prevention policy, if you have any question, please let us know. If you have any question, please can signify. If you have any question, yes, you need E5 license. Ngozi, yes, you need E5 license to do that. Okay, I think someone wants to ask question. Ngozi, are you using your tenant or the tenant given to you by the community? Um, Mr. Emmanuel, I think someone wants to ask question. You can unmute him.
Okay, Samuel, your mic has been unmuted. Ask your question.
Okay. Yeah, good evening, Mr. Jude. So my question is there any difference between litigation code and retention policy?
You want us to skip the curriculum? It won't work, sir.
No, because in
But
our exchange online, they talked about litigation code. So that's I want to know if there's any. Okay,
no,
we are
you
still
want
going
us?
there.
Yes, when you get to
Oh, okay.
information governance, we still get there.
Oh, okay, okay.
Don't
All right,
let
no
us skip
problem.
our curriculum.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Welcome, boss. So any other question? Ngozi are yet to answer my question. We are still on the call. I want to know which of the tenants. The tenants given to you by the community. You should have E5 license now. Mr. Emmanuel.
Okay. He doesn't have his student license. He doesn't have boss.
A1 license. Wow. 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 What are we going to do? What are we going to do? So, how many people do you have on this call that don't have tenants? We don't have tenants at all, aside from the Microsoft 365 tenant that was given to you. Please signify. We don't have tenant at all that you can use to reproduce this. So I have Ngozi. Ah, we have Mr. Abiodun. Mr. Abiodun, I will still give you tenant. We have Goma, we have Tara, we have Blue. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm seeing Benga, but Benga is not showing on my screen. Seeing 5 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm coming. Just give me 3 seconds. So we have 5. Ah, but it's increasing. If you have Solomon, not the one give it to you, we are fine. I just mean those that only have access to what is it called? They only have access to the ones that was given to them by the community. They don't have any other one. I'm coming, please. I'm trying to open that tenant to just make sure just now. Not sure on that tenant do we have much. Many people do we have on that tenant? How many hands do we have here? The hands is increasing, but I beg. Let me see. We have 6. We have 6. If you don't have at all, just raise your hand so I will know people I'm dealing with here. Please, just give me a few minutes so we can create those users because I would actually love everybody to reproduce the issue. Okay, let me use this for that 10 minutes. I'm still I'm trying to sign in. 505 and 7. Let's go. Sorry. 8. Still don't want to check if it's Z5. Okay, we'll check. So who's the first person that who does is the first person? Let's see how many lines right now. This is 11 on my side. We have enough. Create multiple user. Create multiple user. First name, Ngozi. Last name is Simba. Danny Ngozi. Next, so Abiali. Abiali. Yo, what's her name? Abiali. Next person, Sarah. After Sarah, who else? Lovina. Johnson. Sorry, I'm still with you. I'm just trying to create you guys on another tenant as license. After Lovina, who again? Bruno. Who else? Did I miss anybody? So the list I have with me, I have Ngozi, I have Abiali, I have Tara, I have Lovina, and I have Bruno. Where else? Did I miss anybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm seeing 5. Where's others? Second screen. Okay, we have Abiodun, we have Benga. Okay, Mr. Abiodun. Mr. Abiodun. Okay, let me go to Mr. Benga first. Benga. His name sounds familiar. Then Mr. Abiodun. Mr. Abiodun, you have a tenant already. You can see your hand is down. I think that is all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7. So let me come again. You have Ngozi, Abiali, Tara, Lovina, Bruno, Mr. Benga, then Mr. Building. Okay, Solomon. Then next. Thanks. Roger. Let me please it's like this again. So I'll put the usernames, but just hold and I ask you for me. I did not include the password. Now I am it. Tara, I've created the account so everybody can confirm if you can sign in. I've created the account. Please don't pick someone else's account. You can see your name and your password in front of it. Please don't pick someone else's account. Please confirm once you can sign in. Please confirm so we can move. Please confirm once you can sign in. Please confirm once you're able to sign in. Are you guys still with me? Please confirm once you're able to sign in. It's loading. Okay. So I really haven't got some response. Others, please confirm.
Please, those of us that was our hands are raised, as our instructor have told us. Let's check. Let's try to log in, please. Thank you for your cooperation.
We are not saying anything aside from because others, can you sign in? Please let us know. Don't come back after the class. I can't sign in. During the week, I might not attend to you. I believe a lot of people that said they don't have accounts, they are not even on their PC at the moment.
Yeah, I thought as
Um,
much.
because the quietness coming, trying to sign you, getting a sign with compliance and sign. Please don't come back during the week and start saying, I can't access this, I can't access that. Confirm now. In Ngozi, please confirm if you can sign in now. Once you are fine, then I think we can continue. Others are not ready. So I think everybody should be fine now. I've assigned admin role to everybody, added everybody to the team. Assigning members. Assigning. That's not anything. Yes, Tara. I just assigned the admin to everybody. So I created a group, assigned the permission. Tara, I can check again. Can I put the password in plain text? Hey, it's in plain text now. Who does it? Okay, don't tell me. No, it sets your password. Okay, that's right. I have this again. Our there is no task. We are just creating account for those that don't have access to what we've done tonight. because you can try this. Tara, no access to admin center. Okay, sign out or open your browser in private mode and try it. Probably there's catch somewhere. And guys, you have reset your password. I've sent you your new password as requested. Let me know once you are fine. Try signing in private or incognito mode. Aside from Clara, is anybody having challenge going to the admin center? Do you have anybody having the same challenge as Tara? I think I said his name. Be it's been well. Others, I believe you are not in front of your screen, that's why you're not responding. So let's just proceed. The little we can talk about DLP tonight. Stop there. I think I want to assume everybody is fine now, aside from Tara. To get back if she's fine in a minute. So please let me know if you can see my screen. Please confirm. Can you see my slide? Okay, thank you. So let's proceed. So we don't really have much time tonight again. So we just have like 6 minutes left. And one, because we joined late and still have to divert, creating accounts and others. There's no point taking a lot of topic if you not practicalize it outside of this place. So there's no point proceeding. So that's why I took my time to create these accounts. So I can do some hands-on during the week. At least with that, no excuse. But however, you only have that account to yourself till the end of this month. You have that account to yourself to the end of this month. And I might forget, maybe any day I need to make use of that account and I remember you. Trust me, I've been yanking up everybody. But if you want me to extend your stay, probably you are still trying to reproduce other things aside from what you had taught, please reach out to me privately. So when I'm yanking off other people's accounts, I will not yank off your accounts. So yesterday we said we are going to talk about three things, which is data classification that we have been talking so far. So the next one is the data loss prevention policy. As the name implies, you can see the strategy or technology used to prevent unauthorized access, sharing, or leakage of sensitive data, unauthorized access for sharing or leakage of sensitive data. You know, I explained yesterday, not every data is sensitive. In most instances, your biodata is not something that is that sensitive because even most of us we have a what is it called? Is it biography now? What is it called now? You see it online. Just don't be a celebrity. Everything about your biodata that you are hiding, even some things about your private life, will be exposed to the public. However, I mentioned yesterday, anything related to our bank and like bank verification number we mentioned yesterday, our BBN, anything that has to do with our NIN and others. that those things that are what by default they are sensitive information and they need to be guided. So in companies also there are a lot of sensitive information like users, customers, data and information. Imagine that you have access to let's say GT Bank customers data. That is, you have access to their account number, you have access to their mobile number, you have access to their account balance, you have access to a lot of information about that user. That user can be easily manipulated. You can even divert their money. Yesterday I said it that the devil tempts some people, while some people they say it tempts them. You might not have any bad intention, but because the person that is in charge of that data lose guard at a given time, then you might have more than what you can chew at the moment and might be tempted to do what is least expected of you, which is reasons why all these are put in place. So the next thing we have is so we have the overview, which is where we'll stop for tonight. Then next week we can pick it up from there to do as many as you like. Maybe next week as we are doing explaining, we'll be doing the hands-on. As I'm explaining, we'll be doing the hands-on. So you can see. So organization generates and store more data. And yesterday I talked about some of the challenges facing classifying sensitive data and reason for why data needs to be prevented protected, sorry. And you can see there are increased risk of data because before now, if you need to go to bank, I think some of us that are born in the 80s, some of us that are born in the early 90s, and maybe people in the 70s and others, if you need to take JAMB examination, we go to, for those in Lagos, we go to order to get, so you get your bank, you get your form from the bank. I think then we used mostly Zenith Bank and GT Bank. There is one bank then that is close to us. I think Savannah Bank. That's where I got my last jam. Once you purchase your jam from that, you fill it, you put your passport, then you see a lot of tickets on some people's phone. Then after you are done, you go to order. Order is where you have jam office. Then you go and submit your photo card. The photo card has three. I think they will take one. You'll be given one, two will be taken from you. So that one that is given to you is what you use to have access to the exam all. So that was then, and then so it is easier for them to protect those data. All they need to do then is just to get maybe mobile police, military people just to guide their compound, so people don't have access to those data. But now all those information they are online. Jam have their servers now. So now they need to protect all users' data they have in those servers. So how would they go about it? They have to classify the information that are sensitive and the one that are what they are not sensitive. So you can see how do DLP protect your data, prevent accidental data exposure by protecting and restricting sensitive informations. You see, it protect data across Microsoft 365, that is Exchange technology, reduce disruption with policy tips, notification, and automated enforcement. So you get tips like this information you want to send out is um, maybe you are sending it to external user. It's tell you that you are sending this information to external user. This information you are sending is confidential. It will give you tips that will make you know that okay, this information I'm sending is actually classified as sensitive information. To you, it might not look sensitive, but it will give you clue for you to know that okay, this thing is what sensitive. And you have the adaptive protection. It adjusts policies dynamically based on user risk level. And we have a framework that is designed here on our screen, identify sensitive data, track how user interacts with sensitive data, and apply policies to that sensitive data. which is where we are going to stop for tonight. We'll stop here for tonight. Then if you have any questions, please let me know. Then before we call it a day. If you have any question, let me know. And before we call it a day. Any question? Do you have
Lovina,
any question?
you've unmuted your mic. Okay, Mr. Abiodun, your mic is unmuted also. You can ask your question, sir.
I'm not sure they want to ask questions. Their hand have been up for now.
Oh, okay, no problem, sir. Mr. Jide, thank you very much. I really appreciate you on behalf of the community and the mentees and the mentors. Thank you very much for your time today.
Welcome,
Thank
boss.
you very much, folks. And the mentees love you. Love you, sir. They are demonstrating their love for you. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, my boss.
Yes, sir. We are loyal, sir. Okay. I'll be stopping the recording straight away. Thank you, sir.